Welcome to In Nomine Domini. Each day we share the life of a saint to inspire faith and courage. Subscribe to walk with us on this journey of holiness. Saint Simon Stock is a beloved figure in the history of the Catholic Church. He is most famous for his connection to the Brown Scapular devotion. Simon Stock was born in England around the year 1165. His family was noble and deeply religious. From a young age, Simon showed a strong love for God. He spent much time in prayer and contemplation. As a boy, Simon was drawn to solitude. According to tradition, he lived in the hollow trunk of a large tree. This is why he is called Stock, which means tree trunk in Old English. Simon dedicated his early life to God as a hermit. He lived simply, fasting and praying for many years. Simon sought to grow in holiness and wisdom. He read the scriptures and meditated on the life of Christ. His reputation for holiness spread throughout the region. Many people came to him for advice and prayer. Simon felt a call to join a religious order. He learned about the Carmelite Order, which had recently come to England. The Carmelites had their origins on Mount Carmel in the Holy Land. They were devoted to prayer, contemplation, and service. Simon was inspired by their way of life. He joined the Carmelites and became a friar. Simon was deeply devoted to the Virgin Mary. He saw her as a model of faith and obedience. Mary was honored as the patroness of the Carmelite Order. Simon encouraged his fellow friars to turn to Mary in times of need. Simon's wisdom and holiness led to his election as prior general of the Carmelites. He became the leader of the order during a difficult period. The Carmelites faced many challenges in Europe. Some people doubted their way of life. Others questioned their right to settle outside the Holy Land. Simon prayed for guidance and strength. He asked Mary to help the order survive and flourish. According to tradition, the Virgin Mary appeared to Simon in a vision. This event took place on the 16th of July, 1251. Mary was surrounded by angels and light. She held the brown scapular in her hands. She gave the scapular to Simon as a sign of her protection. Mary promised special graces to those who wore the scapular with faith. She said, "Whoever dies clothed in this scapular shall not suffer eternal fire." Simon was filled with joy and gratitude. He shared the vision with his fellow Carmelites. The brown scapular became a symbol of Mary's care and intercession. Simon encouraged everyone to wear the scapular and trust in Mary's promise. The devotion to the brown scapular spread quickly. Many people began to wear it as a sign of faith and hope. The scapular became a popular sacramental in the church. Simon Stock continued to lead the Carmelites with wisdom. He worked to strengthen the order and promote devotion to Mary. He traveled to visit Carmelite communities across Europe. Simon encouraged the friars to live lives of prayer and service. He reminded them to trust in Mary during difficult times. Simon was known for his humility and kindness. He cared for the sick, the poor, and the suffering. He listened to those in trouble and offered wise counsel. Simon's leadership brought peace and unity to the Carmelites. He helped the order grow in numbers and holiness. Simon wrote many prayers and hymns in honor of Mary. His love for her inspired others to deepen their devotion. Simon's favorite prayer was the Flos Carmeli, or Flower of Carmel. This hymn is still sung by Carmelites around the world. Simon Stock's life was marked by miracles. Many people were healed through his prayers. Some were cured of illness or delivered from danger. Others found peace and hope through his guidance. Simon always gave credit to God and Mary for these wonders. He saw himself as a humble servant of Christ and his mother. Simon Stock lived to a very old age. He died in Bordeaux, France, on the 16th of May, 1265. His death was peaceful and holy. Many witnessed miracles at his tomb. People prayed for his intercession and received answers. Simon was buried in the Carmelite church in Bordeaux. His relics became a source of comfort and healing. The church recognized Simon Stock as a saint. His feast day is celebrated on the 16th of May. Carmelites and lay people honor him each year. Saint Simon Stock's legacy lives on in the Brown Scapular devotion. Millions of Catholics wear the scapular as a sign of Mary's protection. The scapular reminds us to live as faithful disciples of Christ. It calls us to prayer, penance, and trust in God's mercy. Saint Simon Stock's vision is a message of hope. Mary's promise is for all who seek her help. She leads us to her Son and intercedes for us. Simon Stock's life teaches us to rely on Mary in times of trouble. He shows us the power of faith and perseverance. Simon faced many trials and doubts. He never gave up hope or trust in God. His example encourages us to be faithful in our own struggles. Simon Stock's love for Mary was deep and constant. He saw her as a spiritual mother and guide. He asked her to protect the Carmelite Order. Mary answered his prayer with the gift of the scapular. Simon shared this gift with the whole church. His devotion to Mary brought comfort to many. Simon Stock's story is told in many countries. His image is found in churches and homes. He is often shown holding the brown scapular. Sometimes he is pictured with the Virgin Mary. Simon's life inspires us to trust in Mary's care. He reminds us that God works through humble servants. Simon Stock's miracles are remembered with gratitude. Many people have been healed through his intercession. Some have found peace in times of anxiety. Others have been protected from harm. Simon's prayers continue to help the faithful. The brown scapular is a sign of Mary's promise. It is not a magic charm, but a call to faith. Those who wear it are invited to live holy lives. They are called to prayer, charity, and trust in God. Mary's promise is for those who follow her Son. Simon Stock encouraged everyone to turn to Mary. He believed she would lead them to Jesus. Simon's faith was simple and strong. He trusted in God's love and mercy. He believed that Mary would never abandon her children. Simon Stock's leadership saved the Carmelite Order. His vision gave hope to the friars. They found new strength to continue their mission. The Carmelite Order grew and flourished. Today, Carmelites serve in many countries. They continue Simon's work of prayer and service. Saint Simon Stock is honored as a spiritual father. His teachings are studied by Carmelites and lay people. His prayers are recited in many languages. Simon's life is a model for all who seek holiness. He teaches us to be faithful in prayer. He shows us the importance of devotion to Mary. He reminds us to trust in God's plan. Simon Stock's story is a story of hope. God chose a humble hermit to bring a great gift to the church. Simon accepted his mission with humility. He gave his life to serve God and others. Simon Stock's feast is a day of joy and thanksgiving. We remember his faith and courage. We ask for his prayers and guidance. Saint Simon Stock, pray for us. Help us to trust in Mary's protection. Teach us to live as faithful disciples. May we wear the brown scapular with devotion. May we follow your example of humility and love. Saint Simon Stock's vision changed the world. The brown scapular has brought comfort to millions. Mary's promise still gives hope today. Simon's life reminds us that God uses ordinary people. Even in times of doubt, we can trust in God's love. Simon Stock's miracles are a sign of God's power. Many people have been healed through his prayers. Some have found strength in times of weakness. Others have been delivered from danger. Simon always pointed to God and Mary. He wanted everyone to know God's mercy. Simon Stock's devotion to Mary was deep. He saw her as a refuge in times of trouble. He encouraged others to pray the rosary. He believed that Mary would intercede for all who asked. Simon's love for Mary inspired many conversions. People who met him were drawn closer to God. Simon Stock's leadership was wise and gentle. He listened to the needs of his friars. He guided them with patience and understanding. Simon was a man of peace. He worked to resolve conflicts in the order. He promoted unity and charity among the friars. Simon Stock's writings are filled with love for Mary. His prayers express trust in her care. He encouraged everyone to seek her help. Simon's hymns are still sung by Carmelites. His words bring comfort and hope. Saint Simon Stock's life is a call to holiness. He invites us to trust in God's providence. He shows us the beauty of a simple, faithful life. Simon's example encourages us to persevere in prayer. He reminds us that Mary is always near. Simon Stock's miracles continue to inspire. Many people have experienced healing through his intercession. Some have been protected from harm. Others have found peace in times of trouble. Simon's prayers are powerful and effective. Saint Simon Stock is a friend to all who seek Mary's help. He prays for us before the throne of God. His intercession brings comfort and hope. Simon's life is a witness to the power of faith. He trusted in God's love, even in difficult times. He believed that Mary would never abandon her children. Simon Stock's story is a message of hope. God works through humble and faithful servants. Mary's promise is for all who trust in her. Simon invites us to wear the brown scapular with devotion. He calls us to live as true disciples of Jesus. Saint Simon Stock, pray for us. Help us to trust in Mary's care. Teach us to follow your example of faith. May we grow in love for God and neighbor. May we find comfort in Mary's promise. Saint Simon Stock, friend of Mary, pray for us. Saint Simon Stock, humble servant, pray for us. Saint Simon Stock, leader of Carmel, pray for us. May your prayers bring us closer to Jesus. May your example inspire us to holiness. Saint Simon Stock, pray for us. Thank you for joining us as we reflected on the life of this inspiring saint. Their story reminds us that God's grace is always at work, even in the most challenging moments. May their example encourage you to walk your own path with faith, courage, and compassion. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and like in Nomine Domini. so you never miss a moment of inspiration and peace. Together, let's continue to seek holiness, one day and one saint at a time.